Cory here with CorysCoins in San Diego. I wanted to give you guys an update on the District 38 race program we have going on. Basically, we have our 2022 Wildcat XX 1000cc NA car. I've been running it in the pro stock class, and we've been at the ragged edge of keeping the Fox shocks alive for pretty much the entire season. The last race, we literally melted the seals right out of them, and then I made some custom seal heads for them that accept Viton seals. Once I did that, I just realized that basically the ports that are inside the piston on the Fox shocks, I continued to add shims to kind of add compression and even to slow down rebound, and it's just not doing anything anymore. It looks like just the ports are so big that when you continue to add shims to like the 1.8 diameter shim stack, which is the largest shim stack on compression, 1.6 on rebound. Once those start to flex at all away from that piston, they're just flowing so much fluid that it's just a wash. So you're not really even engaging any more of the shim stack. And honestly, like, we're going so fast in this thing that we can easily compete with the unlimited cars anyway. At this point, we're getting rid of all the Fox shocks. We're going to be running Rev shocks or Revolution suspension, which my brother Brandon has the patents on and makes. And then we're also in the process of finding and ordering the 72-inch Speed side-by-side or Speed UTV, whatever it's called now, Speed whatever, long travel kit for the Wildcat. So that's obviously an $8,000 kit. So we're going to be running that suspension with the Rev shocks, and we'll be moving into the unlimited class. You can see that our factory arms, obviously I've already torn the car down to get ready for everything because we had to tear all these arms apart anyway, but you can see just how bent they are. I mean, they flexed and bent so bad that it actually flaked the paint off of the welds in the corners, and you can tell just by wobbling them. Look at, that's how bent the arms are. We also cracked one of the arms, and at this point, you know, with the tune, the headers, you know, the clutches that we have in there, we have the Speed clutch, weighted clutches and everything in there. You know, we're doing 80 plus through whoops, you know, and it's just, those components are obviously not made to go that fast, including the shocks. They're just not made to be running that quick, and we're kind of limited to having to use those shocks and that suspension because we were in the pro stock class, and I just can't get the components to live. Plus, you know, when we're doing 80 something through the whoops in that car, my co-driver is that good buddy, and obviously myself, I don't, if those arms crack on lap 1 and then we make it through and we're on lap 4 and we're still doing 80 through the whoops and they just snap, I mean, we're gonna cartwheel the car. So it's obviously a safety issue at this point. I mean, even if we wanted to still run the factory arms, we'd have to straighten them and then gusset them, and it's kind of just a waste of time. Also, the car just handles so much worse without the wider track width. Like, I'm having to run 2-inch wheel spacers just to get the car's width out to about 68.5 inches wide. And with the upgraded suspension from Speed, it puts that out to 72 inches, and that's with no wheel spacers. So you're taking all that extra leverage and load off of the wheel bearings, the front hubs, the rear wheel bearings, all that stuff. and you're giving the car obviously more wheel travel just because there's more articulation, and when you extend an axle out longer, you can get more CV angle out of it. So even though the angle of the CV is the same, the travel is farther because you're now traveling out here up and down instead of in here up and down. So your same CV articulation angle or maximum angle is actually giving you more travel with a longer, wider suspension. So, and we also have the full Weddle front differential. We welded up the couplers. I added and made some chromoly doubler plates, and also used, I think this is from 775 Fab. If you guys are looking for really high quality components for your UTV, the Wildcat in particular, 775 Fabrication makes really nice stuff. You know, my brothers and I and my dad, we grew up building NHRA Dragsters, fall TIG welded, chromoly, everything. And a lot of people make components that I would never put on my car just because they look like crap. But 775 does really good work. So these are their urethane mounts for the rear. Obviously they're a little rusted from me just, you know, driving around with them, but they're all TIG welded. They're all super nice. A lot of this stuff is thick chromoly. It's all really, really nice stuff. So they have all the other mounts on there as well. They make a lot of one-off stuff. Like I just ordered my rear suspension gussets because where the rear suspension mounts up top, generally these usually crack up here. So this is where the rear suspension, the top of the shock, bolts to the chassis. So they make a gusset that actually comes down all the way and picks up this tube. So we're doing that as well at the same time. And honestly, the only thing I'm trying to figure out now is, because it is literally New Year's Day, so it is January 1st, 2024. Depending on Speed's backlog or their lead time for their long travel suspension kit, I'm hoping that we can still get that in time, get the rev shocks in time, and be able to make the first race of the season, which is February 10th, which is, you know, a month and a week away or so. And so I'm hoping we can do that, because I don't want to miss the first race of the season, and I also don't want to start the first race of the season in a class that I'm not going to be running in for the season, like the Pro Stock class, when I'm going to have to move to the Unlimited class anyway. So I'm not going to put the car all back together with the stock stuff just to run that race. But yeah, I mean, we took all the decals off the car. The car looks way better without any decals on. Looks real stealthy, and there's plenty of room for sponsors. We also wired up multiple fuse panels in the front. We have the GoPros wired in. We also run I think they're called Razorback, but we run obviously a belt temperature gauge, but we also run those same probes but on our shocks, so we know how hot the shocks are getting. We obviously got our GoPros in there and everything, so we will continue to make changes, but we had all of last season to do a lot of R&D. I've gotten really familiar with the car, tearing this car apart. I bought this car brand new from Coin Power Sports. It is a 2022 Wildcat, and then I tore everything out of it and built it into a race car and made the first race literally, I think, 2 weeks after I bought it. So my brothers also race. So my brother Jeremy races in the Pro Turbo class Unlimited. My other brother Brandon races in the class that we will be bumping this to, which is the NA Unlimited class for UTV. And there's some other races we'd like to do with the car as well. There's another one coming up at the end of January, which I don't think we're going to be able to make because I don't think we'll get suspension in time. But yeah, we're just kind of working our way through the season, making changes as we go. We do live stream all of the races. So if you guys want to watch those, make sure to like, subscribe to the channel. We're working out kind of a method with my co-driver, Zach. So he'll hopefully be uploading a lot more content and everything for you guys. Since the channel is monetized, we can kind of start working around all that stuff. We are running the, bam! We got all the PRP stuff in here, as well as our Lawrence, all of our radios and everything, standard race car stuff, Parker pumpers, intercom systems. Plus, if you guys want to log on to Moto Tally, they do all of the tracking during the races. So we go through checkpoints that have that scan our transponders, and this is how they keep track of timing in the races now, which is really cool. We also run a cell booster in here, so the actual streaming comes from a Verizon jetpack that we run inside the glove box, and then that gets boosted with the cell booster that has an antenna up here. So that's supposed to 30x your range. And we use that to stream the GoPro footage. And also the GoPro footage is obviously recording locally as well in really high quality. So pretty much we'll just stream the races during the races, and then we'll upload the good quality video after that and get rid of the stream off the channel. So you guys will be able to keep an eye on all that stuff. And yeah, we're looking forward to having a bunch more fun this season with a much better car that's set up better to go the speeds that we have been going, and hopefully put less load on the actual car while we're still going those really fast competitive speeds that we've had to, you know, like I'm not a slow driver. My brothers aren't slow drivers. We're not going to drive slow. It is a race. We are there to go as fast as we can. So we just need to keep updating the car to be able to handle the speeds that we're going without obviously outdriving our own personal talent. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that quick little update. We'll keep you posted. There's like no videos on people installing the speed long travel kits. There's a guy on Instagram, I forget his name, I think I sent him a message, but he has like a couple photos and stuff just through Instagram. So I'll do a time lapse on this whole thing and walk you guys through the entire build, just so you can see how we have to assemble the axles and get the arms in, dial in the toe in, toe out, caster camber, all that stuff. And then we're also gonna have to clearance this rear cage a little bit around here to accept the, I think we're gonna run 3-inch rev shocks in the rear and 2.5s in the front. Those are pretty much just the best shocks you can get, period. As far as servicing them, you don't need to. As far as changing valving, it's all external, so you don't have to open up the shocks to change valving. And you can just run through an entire season. They just don't get hot. Like literally my brother's car, he got second overall in the last race. And when he came into the pits after the 5th lap of a 100+ mile race, you can literally grab the shocks like they're 120 degrees. They're not hot. They just flat out don't get hot because you're not using shim stacks on a piston, so they're position sensitive instead of speed sensitive. So it's just a whole different type of shock. So it should work out really well. I'm excited to see how the car will work once we get all this stuff done. It is an expensive venture that we're going on now. It's kind of shit or get off the pot time. We're no longer messing around in the pro stock class, which I thought was fun for a while, just to be so fast in the pro stock class. Because I am a fan of the whole sleeper thing. I am, obviously I used to race on-road, and that's where a lot of our other channels got their content from, was our half-mile races, and I'm the current world record holder for BMW in the half-mile also. And obviously I got my son's 170, we got a Yamaha R1, we got my brother's shifter cart in the background with a rotary valve engine. And, we make everything here also. I got my Miller Synchro Wave. We're full lift and everything. We have our full shop in here, so make sure to follow the channel, like, subscribe. It really helps us out. We're gonna try to put a ton of content together this year, and hopefully we'll get some subs and we can take the money that we get back from the ad revenue and maybe buy some fuel, buy some air for the tires on this car. So yeah, thanks so much for subscribing. Hopefully you guys got a little bit out of the video. Make sure to follow us. I'm gonna try to keep up with everything. We're gonna be live streaming all the races and putting up content throughout the year. So thanks so much. Hey, you guys have a great New Year's. Make sure to stick to those resolutions. My resolution is to hopefully not spend an ass ton of money on this car this season after I spend a ton of money tomorrow when speed calls me back. So keep going, keep racing.